A lot of people think that Brown Sugar is about romance, but I don't think it's actually about romance. I think Brown Sugar is about asking ourselves what happens when we want something that requires risk. And in those moments, do we endure the risk, or do we revert to cutting off parts of ourselves for the idea of safety? Throughout the film, Dre and Sydney are not struggling with the do we love each other? Do we trust each other? Do we know each other? They know each other like the back of their hands. They've been together since childhood. And Dre is not unclear about whether or not he enjoys his job at Millennial. Dre is questioning whether or not he can withstand being in a place that doesn't fit his true heart and his true nature and his true beliefs for the idea of stability. And Zora is questioning whether or not she can go through her entire life, possibly marry a man, when she knows that she's truly in love with her best friend. And knowing that doing so and being in a relationship with Dre is a risky decision. And watching this film really makes me think about how we as a society commonly will make decisions that look good on paper, whether it be with our relationships, our finances, our careers, but ultimately don't satisfy us. And we'll go through these things acquiring accolades and awards and money and being like, well, what's missing? And it's because we didn't follow our heart. Because sometimes the thing that you may be led to do isn't the safest idea. It's not the idea that looks the best on paper, but it's the idea that's most authentic to you. What I love about how this film ends is the film doesn't end with Dre and Sydney getting married and flying off into the sunset and Dre becoming a award-winning producer. It ends with them deciding to say yes. It ends with them first admitting their love to each other, and then committing to taking the journey to see how it ends, to actually enduring the risk. And I think that we as people can really take from that, not about, whether or not you get married to the man or not, but to think, where in my life am I choosing the safe thing versus the hard thing? Where in my life have I played things safe and basically given up things that I wanted, or cut or shaved down parts of me because of this idea of safety? Where could I be more willing to surrender, to just say yes? In the film, Dre talks about how he feels like he's a sellout at some point. He's still working at Millennial and he's working with these artists that he doesn't believe in. He feels like it's watering down hip hop. And Zora says, well, we all understand that, you have to shave off parts of yourself or compromise in certain parts to survive this business. But the question I want to ask you is, what if the thing you want doesn't actually require you to sacrifice this time? What if the only thing you have to do is be willing to trust that you can endure the results of your risk? What if the only thing you have to do is be willing to say yes to riding out and walking out your true desire? Because Dre and Sydney, despite their success and accolades and good relationships and ups and downs, don't actually start to feel peace and actually get to the end of the movie until they say yes to their true heart's desire. Not when they got the money, not when they got the better relationship, not when they got the better ideal on paper, but when they actually started walking in alignment with their true heart's desire. And I say that to say that I hope that when you watch this film again at some point, that you can take away, not that it's a romance film, but that it's a film about choosing how to take risk and when to take risk to follow your heart. This month I am exploring the theme of what do we know about love for February. Now, if you want deeper essays and conversations on topics like this, you can check out my Substack that is linked in my bio. But either way, I hope to see you in the next one. Toodles!